Haven't made a video for a while because I've had some space issues. I came across a report that Japan Airlines have initiated a new policy whereby people can allocate seats, and this isn't 100% guaranteed, but they can allocate seats with possibility that they won't be sitting next to a crying baby or a child under the age of 3. And the logic here is obvious. No one wants to be stuck next to a baby who's crying for hours when you're on a long haul flight. Now, personally, I've never been in this situation. I've been lucky. I've certainly had plenty of travel stress related to other issues, delays, and so on, but I've never been stuck next to a crying baby on a plane. Um, this might take, I think it's very good policy. I think it's a win win situation, although it's not guaranteed. It seems to me that it benefits everyone because parents who have young children doesn't affect them. They just book their tickets and sit where they're sitting. But people who don't want that situation will have the choice. Um, I would even go a step further. I don't know why airlines don't just have a policy of having family only flights, which are particularly for babies and young children, much like hotels do that. And you get hotels that are for adults only and that are family friendly. I don't think someone is an ogre just because they want a peaceful flight. Um, and what I've observed, most people responded to this in a positive way, but some people took the attitude. I saw one comment. This was on I think it was either Yahoo News. I can't remember specific. I think it was Yahoo News. Yeah, someone said, "Oh, this is a sign of the selfish world we're in." How is that selfish? To me, what is selfish is parents who have this attitude of, well, just put up with it. Of course, babies cry, and the little baby doesn't know any better. That's not the baby's fault, right? So, of course, I wouldn't blame the baby. Toddlers, I think, is a slightly different matter because by the age of 2 and 3, you start knowing right from wrong, or you start being able to know when you're being naughty, um, cognitively speaking. So that's a bit different. Babies, don't know any better. But the point is, as much as I have a lot of respect for people who make the decision to raise a child, bring a child into the world, I'm an uncle, I'm a son. I have a lot of respect for the responsibility that takes. But it is ultimately a choice. So it's not good enough saying, oh, babies cry, get used to it. Yeah, babies cry, but it's your responsibility as a parent to give them milk, to make them comfortable, whatever it takes to try and get them to settle down. And I accept it isn't easy, but it's your responsibility. If someone pays for a flight, it's a long haul flight, it's reasonable that they expect that flight to be in peace. And the parent might say, I've seen people with the attitude, oh, well, do you think a tired parent wants to put up with it either? No, they don't, but it's their child, right? In the end of the day, it is their child. It's their responsibility. And these people who impose this on others, who just expect others to put up with it, I think that's incredibly selfish. It's kind of like if you're in a coffee shop, I've had this situation where children is running around, when people are carrying hot drinks, when they're working on laptops and so on. Parents like this need to really look at themselves because it's very selfish behavior. Um, so I'm not saying children can't fly, but it seems to me take this a step further. Have a win-win situation. Have flights that are catering for families with young children, then have flights which are guaranteed not to have that. That way, if you really want to guarantee you're not stuck next to a crying baby, you can book the flight that isn't that. Why not? I mean, I think it should seriously be looked at. Like I said, I've been lucky. I've never directly been in that situation, but I understand people who have say it's very stressful. I mean, the sound of a baby crying is one of the most stress-inducing noises. It just is, and that's not the baby's fault, but that's what it is. So let me know your thoughts. I commend Japan Airlines. I think this is a very good initiative, and they can't guarantee it, but I think it's a good initiative. Why not? Why don't they go a step further? other airlines and have family only flights and non-child flights. Why not? You know. By the way, someone pointed out to me, and this is very true. There are some adults that can be very disruptive. Drunks. This is probably for another video, but I would just forbid anyone who is inebriated from getting on board in the first place. There's nothing worse than some aggressive yob, kicking off at 30,000 feet and causing trouble for everyone else. I think that should be an arrestable offence. In an enclosed space, definitely. So, conclusion: if you pay money for a plane ticket, it's a long haul flight, it's reasonable to expect that to be relatively peaceful, right? Particularly people who have anxiety. I have a friend who has severe anxiety. He's not necessarily scared of flying, but I know that that sort of noisy situation, would trigger his anxiety badly, and could even induce a panic attack. So, you know, it's a responsibility of parents to deal with that. If you have a baby and you're going on a long haul flight, bring all the provisions to do what you need to do to, put the baby at peace as much as possible. And I'm not saying it's easy, but it is your responsibility.